What brought me here was the conversations around pursuing local philanthropy. As an organization, we just intentionally began pursuing local philanthropy. So I want to hear what other organizations are doing in that space, but also most importantly, I thought this was going to be an amazing opportunity for me to network and create better partnerships. I think what has stood out for me is the fact that no one is coming to save us. So as we are exploring philanthropy moving forward, we need to create systems that work for us, create systems that are sustainable and that are long-term, and also just the realization that Africans can actually give and do give, but we need to introduce some structure into their giving to make it long-term and sustainable.
So far, I was mostly impressed this morning from one of the plenary speakers about the amount of resources. So distribution of resources along the various value chains, it's absolutely unequal. And therefore, there are resources. So we're used, at least I come from Italy, so we're used to thinking of Africa as an inherently poor continent, but actually the amount of resources, both human resources and natural resources, is incredible. And what is skewed and it's unequal is the distribution of these resources along the value chain. So resources go abroad and don't stay in the continent. That's why I think it's very, very important that we continue to support the bottom-up ideas that can solve issues in the African countries.
The panels I have heard today are very, very exhilarating. Every single speaker spoke about evidence that Africa has the money, has the capability, has the people to develop. We just need to stop objecting to what is happening, and we need to start doing what speakers have suggested we can start doing right now. So let's do it.
The key takeaway from the conference is how similar the challenges and the opportunities and the situations in most of the countries, especially in Africa. So I believe if that is happened to be the fact, then we need to use and take advantage of that similarity, exchanging what happens in different countries, exchanging the successes and also the failures and the challenges and how we can come over these challenges. So these are one key takeaway from me is exchanging experience and knowing what is better to be done.
Yes, I'm here at the Sixth APC, as it were, in beautiful Cairo, and participated in the first plenary panel which just ended, which was looking at multilateralism and how in the changing circumstances of that field, financing for development for Africa is sort of enhanced. And the discussion sort of put effectively in context the nature of development finance in Africa, in that official development assistance, which is the one that's being disrupted through reduction, is a relatively small part of the financing for development in Africa.
So the panel that I was moderating managed to go into a significant amount of detail on the models that are emerging that are African-led. The real challenge now is not the ideation, it's not the production of ideas. It is really about whether those ideas are taken seriously and implemented. There is a lot of rhetoric that has been generated over the years. There is a lot of words that have been said, and it is important to actually go into the action. So there is a real sense that Africa doesn't need to always be begging and waiting for development assistance, which in any case is dwindling, which is fraught with many other problems and challenges. But Africa can also mobilize its resources, can also prevent leakages from its resources, can prevent illicit financial flows.
Probably the theme, so I do a lot of work in philanthropy across geographies, and probably the thing that's quite distinctive about the conversation here is a very strong focus on local solutions, and that the knowledge and capability and context are there already, that we need to tap into this local knowledge and wisdom. I'd say that's very distinctive among the geographies that I have worked in.
What I'd like to see discussed in the future are more specific examples of philanthropy. Real examples on the ground of what philanthropists have been able to do and the sort of impact they have been able to create.